Hey everybody, hope you're doing great. First, I want to say thanks to everybody that sent us contracts, gave us calls, got everything lined out for work with the coming storm. As you know, we do definitely have a storm. There's a few things I wanted to talk to everyone about that I just think is a good idea. Because as you know, because we serve kind of the whole continuum of the insurance industry, we get some versions and things we get some positions to see some things that you wouldn't normally get to see at the quantity we see. And I just want to talk to you about a few of them. The first thing I'd say to you is, and I was talking to one of our colleagues today about this, is, it gets pretty crazy, especially in the first 90 to 100 days of the kind of the fog of the cat. And I want you to remember that things aren't going to go right the first few weeks, even the first month. They're going to be a little crazy, and even some people that you rely on are going to be a little nutty and not as available. But I want you to remember that it's just the nuttiness of the front side of this game. And that's the adjuster who was given 10 jobs to do, and he can only spend about 25 minutes on each of them, and there's no way that he can actually do a good job. It's the guy who's been awake for 28 hours trying to get a big project done, or trying to once again get credit because somebody didn't pay him. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to go on, including some real struggles by everybody in the whole continuum. And one thing that we can know that I've learned over and over the longer I've done this is we really are all in this boat, this thing together. And we're greater than the sum of our parts. And I want us all to recognize that we really are all of us, part of the same team to protect the insured. And I don't care if you're an IA, a PA, a contractor, a roofer, a mitigation guy, an estimator, don't care what you are. We really are part of the same cohesive team. And the more we can notice that together and be of service to each other, the better we are. We are a small industry of good people. There are a lot of good people in our game. And I think that we just need to be aware that this is going to happen going in. Now, there's a couple of things in Florida specifically I wanted to cover with everybody. I saw this with Hurricane Michael more than any time I had seen it in the past. The mitigation company, usually from out of state that's not licensed, will come into the state and run drying equipment, which they can legally run without a license. And we'll work at Miss Smith's house and dry her out for 3 days, pack the equipment up, leave, send the $4,000 or $5,000 invoice to the carrier or whatever it may be. The carrier pays it quickly and says that mitigation is completed. There was no demo necessary, and the entire freaking claim goes off the rails. We also see the same exact thing happen on light commercial, not as much on large commercial because they just can't get by with it. But these guys, what they're doing is dangerous because it affects the health of the insured. And I don't know a solution to this, but I think we need to be talking to regulatory authorities when this happens, because what they are doing is really snake oil, and it's dangerous. Second thing I wanted to talk to you was about the AOB. If you have not talked to an attorney to better understand this, you need to do so now. And if you need me to recommend somebody for you to talk to, get in touch with me and I'll gladly help you to find somebody that's qualified to do that I would trust to do that. But I want all of you to understand that because the position of the contractor is slightly different now, because they're not stepping into the position of the insured, there is going to be a lot of waiting for approval and waiting for monies to actually do the work. Otherwise, you're going to end up extremely upside down. I watched Michael destroy with the AOB. I watched Michael destroy good contractors, utterly crush them. Some guys that I respect, that I've referred, that I mean, that I would have work on my own place. I mean, people that were just phenomenally good, that I know are good and have seen do incredibly good work. These guys fell apart. And the same thing will happen in this storm if we don't walk together deliberately. And so we got to be honest with the insureds, and we got to tell them what we're up against. And if there needs to be a lawyer on a claim, used to, as the contractor, you could raise the flag and go do that, but you can't do it anymore. But there are some ways that you can bring a lawyer into something by introducing them to the insured and making sure a qualified person is actually handling that, that's actually really getting you paid. Although you're not part of the case, and I'm not giving you legal advice. This is just what I know. I see good contractors doing this today. You know, the thing that you got to remember still is that the one thing you've got on your side probably is a lot of experience. Let that experience speak to you day in and day out. And if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you see somebody breaking the rules and breaking the law and endangering the insured, report them to the state. If you see them engaged in the unlawful practice of public adjusting, report them to FAPIA or report them to the state. There's a tremendous number of people in the game that I do that engage in the unlawful practice of public adjusting. In Florida, we have great public adjusters. We have people I call friend. There are people I've relied on. There's people that we work for with every day that are great public adjusters. I would say the same thing about attorneys. I would say the same thing about contractors, but specifically the public adjusters. But if you find somebody out there that's doing claim handling and they're not a public adjuster, they're endangering that insured. It's just that simple. There is nothing in Florida law that says that it is okay for someone who is not a public adjuster or an attorney to actually file a claim or handle a claim or do anything in the furtherance of settling that claim. Period. That's the deal. And I think we've done a poor job of allowing that in our game. I will caution a lot of people that did that when they were at Hurricane Michael. I will caution you that the regulatory framework that is in Panama City and the surrounding areas doesn't compare to the regulatory framework that is from Jacksonville to Miami. And I would just remind you that the people that work enforcing that have handcuffs and guns. And they will charge you with multiple felonies. I can't say that enough. And guys, a lot of people that hear this will think that I'm like scolding you or worrying you or saying something after somebody. I'm not. I've been at this game a long time. I've seen degrees of heartache that I wish that I never saw. But I know that if we stay in our lane, if we do good work, if we trust our gut, if we look after each other, if we are of service to the insured and of service to all those working in the assured, and if we stop having so many damn enemies and see it more as a team, I know the outcome will change. And I promise you, for the toil this brings to the average person who has an insurance claim, who has the terror of the howls of the winds of these storms, when we touch them, it needs to feel like the cavalry has come. Not that another fight has come. I'm proud to call Florida home for a lot of reasons. I'm proud to know the attorneys I do. I'm proud to know the public adjusters, the contractors, the professionals that do testing. We've got a talent pool in the state of Florida day one that's absolutely amazing. We also have a talent pool that will be here from around the country, and many of these people do nothing but raise the value overall to everything we do because they're good providers of their services. This is likely going to be a wild ride. And I think this one's going to feel a good bit different than Irma. I think this one could hurt. So tonight and this weekend, we all pray. No loss of life, no loss of mind, no loss of will. And very soon, we march. And this time when we do it, let's march together. Let's be a team. And let's change the way this is handled right here, right now, in a meaningful way. Thank you guys for listening to me today. If you need me for anything, let me know. If you need my office, just go ahead and call 800-272-1601. There'll always be some there 24 hours a day because we're always working. I told my staff today that they needed to take the weekend and they needed to rest. And they needed to take care of some of those creature details that they have to do, taking care of this and that. Get their hair cut, run to the doctor, whatever the case may be. But they need to get on it. Because while they would again feel refreshed and wide awake, it's probably not going to be here for a long time. Good luck, everybody, and Godspeed.